Welcome to the deep dive. The world of artificial intelligence. Well, it feels like it's just moving incredibly fast, doesn't it?
It really does. New AI models seem to be popping up all the time.
Yeah, benchmarks getting reshuffled,
Yeah.
amazing applications showing up in all sorts of fields.
Keeping track of it all is definitely a challenge.
Totally. And that's really why we're here. Our goal today is, to cut through some of that noise for you.
We've been looking at the latest updates on language models, some really exciting progress in AI agents.
Right, and checking out some new uses for the tech, plus touching on those important community and ethical discussions too.
Exactly. We've sort of synthesized information from quite a few sources.
So think of this as your way to quickly grasp the key trends or really significant advancements in AI right now without getting totally overwhelmed by all the jargon.
We want to give you that clear overview, highlight what's really significant, and, help connect the dots so you can see that bigger picture.
Okay, great. Let's dive right in then. What's happening with the models themselves? It feels like it's not just about making them bigger and bigger anymore.
That's a really key point. Yeah, there's definitely a strong trend towards smaller, more efficient models.
Okay.
A great example is the Qwen family. They've now got quantized versions of their Qwen 3 models,
Of quantized meaning.
meaning they're adapted to use less memory. Specifically, the 14 billion and 32 billion parameter ones are now available like this.
So they can run on machines with less GPU memory. That makes them more accessible, right?
Precisely. Yeah, it opens things up for, individuals, maybe smaller companies to actually use this kind of cutting edge AI.
That's pretty significant.
It is. And they've also got the bigger Qwen 3 235B model on the Together AI API, so that expands access too. Plus, there's community feedback happening, work on a Qwen 3 coder. It's a very active space.
Got it. And, speaking of smaller models punching above their weight, Microsoft's 5.4 reasoning, that one caught my eye.
Oh yeah, that's fascinating. It's distilled from OpenAI's O3 Mini, and importantly, it's released under the MIT license, so open source.
And the interesting part is it performs really well on reasoning tasks.
Reportedly, yes. Better than some much larger models on certain reasoning benchmarks. It definitely makes you rethink that bigger is always better idea.
Mm.
But there's a but. There are also reports about it having some robustness challenges.
Meaning it might not be reliable in all situations.
Sort of, yeah. It suggests that while you gain efficiency with smaller size, you might lose something else. Maybe consistency or handling unexpected inputs. It makes you think about how we evaluate these models overall.
Definitely gives you a different perspective. Okay, so shifting gears a bit, who's actually leading the pack right now in terms of performance on specific benchmarks?
Well, if you look at interacting with databases, SQL specifically, Cohere's Command A is topping the SQL Bird Bench leaderboard right now.
Okay, and why is that significant?
What's notable is that it's outperforming systems that use something called scaffolding.
Scaffolding, like a framework.
Kind of think of it as a more rigid, step-by-step way to build those database queries. Command A seems to have a more direct, maybe more effective approach for that specific task. It's a concrete example of a model really excelling in a niche.
Right, a niche that's actually really important for a lot of businesses.
Hmm.
And the big names, Google, Gemini, any news there?
Oh, absolutely. Google's been busy. They've introduced Trajan.
Trajan.
Yeah, it's a new evaluation method specifically for video generation. It focuses on temporal consistency.
Making sure things look right over time in the video.
Yeah.
No weird jumps or changes.
Exactly that. It's a key challenge. Also, Gemini now has an OpenAI compatibility layer. It supports something called reasoning efforts.
Sounds like making different AI systems talk to each other better.
That seems to be the direction, yeah, making things potentially more interoperable. And they're showing some promising, though still preliminary, results on complex math problems, comparing favorably to a 4 Mini. Definitely one to watch.
It really feels like constant iteration, everyone pushing boundaries, even OpenAI. You mentioned their O3 model.
Yeah, O3 just debuted at number 5 on the Web Dev Arena leaderboard, which comes from LM Arena, so still very much in the game.
And it's not just language models, right? You mentioned video. Diffusion models are also evolving.
Right. Diffusion models are key for image and video generation. Inception Labs has a new Diffusion LLM API.
And the headline there?
Speed. They're claiming it's 5 times faster than typical autoregressive LLMs.
5 times. How?
The key seems to be parallelization, designing it to do many calculations simultaneously.
Wow. For anyone creating visual content, that speed difference could be a real game changer, couldn't it? Faster iterations, more experimentation.
Absolutely. And just to show the sheer breadth of activity, we've also seen Microsoft release 5.4 Reasoning and Reasoning Plus on Hugging Face.
Okay.
Allen AI put out Olmo 2 1B. JetBrains released Melum 4B Dense.
So lots of different players, different sizes, different focuses.
Exactly. It really shows the intense R&D happening across the board.
And beyond just performance, there were these interesting observations popping up too, like something at Clone and Simo noted about reinforcement learning.
Ah, yeah, that was a really insightful point. The observation that reinforcement learning, or RL, can sometimes struggle with tasks that seem, well, trivial to humans.
Huh. Even if the model is great at complex stuff.
Right. It's a good reminder that these models don't learn like we do. Excelling at complexity doesn't automatically mean competence across the board, especially on simple, maybe common sense tasks.
It suggests maybe the training method still needs some refinement.
Could be, making them more generally capable, across different types of tasks.
Okay, so models getting leaner, meaner, more specialized in some ways, but maybe still with surprising gaps. Let's shift now to AI agents. This is where it starts feeling really futuristic, agents working together.
It really is an exciting frontier. This idea of agents collaborating is gaining serious traction. Google's A2A protocol agent-to-agent is a really important piece of this puzzle.
Okay, A2A. Break that down for us. What's the goal?
The main goals are modularity, security, and basically plug-and-play collaboration.
Like AI Lego bricks.
That's a great analogy, yeah. Imagine snapping different specialized agents together to tackle a bigger job securely.
And what could that enable?
Well, you can imagine things like agent marketplaces, maybe, finding the right agent for a specific skill, or even agents from different companies working together on a project across organizational boundaries, but safely.
That really does sound like it could change how complex tasks get done. So how are individual agents actually performing? Are they getting smarter?
Definitely. If you look at the agent leaderboards, which try to measure capability across different tests, Claude 3.7 Sonnet and Gemini 2.5 Pro are currently leading.
And GPT 4.1.
Also right up there, very competitive. These leaderboards give you a kind of snapshot of the current state of play.
So agents are getting smarter and potentially learning to cooperate. What are the big hurdles they still need to overcome?
A major one is multi-step reasoning, especially in scenarios where the agent needs several turns, like a back-and-forth conversation, to finish something.
Right, keeping track of the context, adapting as things change.
Exactly. It's tricky. And that's where systems like Ragen come in. They're specifically designed to try and improve how agents handle these longer, more complex interactions.
Maintaining context must involve memory, right? That seems crucial.
Absolutely critical.
Yeah.
An agent's ability to, remember past interactions, update its memory based on new info, and then use that memory effectively. That's fundamental for them to be truly useful and, frankly, reliable.
And tools are emerging to help with this. You mentioned Llama Index.
Yes, exactly. There's been recent investment in LlamaIndex.ts and Llama Cloud. It highlights how important these tools are becoming for building these more sophisticated agent workflows.
Especially for handling lots of documents and text.
Yeah, agentic document workflows seem to be a key use case. These tools make building practical agent applications easier.
And it sounds like users are getting more direct control too. Something about Claude and remote MCPs.
That's right. Claude is starting to allow users to bring their own custom MCP server, that's their term for the compute infrastructure, into the Claude.a environment.
So you can run parts of it on your own systems.
Essentially, yes. It offers more flexibility, more control, which could be really important for users with specific security needs or compliance requirements.
Interesting. Okay, so better collaboration, better memory, more user control. Agents are definitely evolving fast. Let's broaden out again and look at where this AI is actually being used. What are some of the cool new applications?
The range is just, well, remarkable. For instance, there's serious talk about AI potentially transforming K-12 computer science education.
How so? Making it more interactive, personalized.
Potentially, yeah. Imagine AI tools helping students learn coding concepts in new ways. It could really change how young people engage with technology.
That's a really compelling vision. What about more established industries, like finance?
AI's role there is growing significantly, but with a very strong emphasis on security and compliance.
Which makes sense, given the stakes.
Absolutely. Building trust and ensuring responsible use is paramount in finance.
And how about using AI for business insights? Any examples there?
Yeah, HelloFresh using Snowflake is a good one. They're using it to get a unified view of their data, run real-time analytics.
To understand their customers better, make better decisions.
Precisely. It's a practical example of AI delivering tangible business value, moving beyond just theory.
And it's not just business insights. Healthcare seems like a huge area of potential impact.
Huge. Look at Glass Health's workspace. It's designed as an agentic AI environment specifically for clinicians.
To help doctors collaborate, maybe streamline workflows.
Exactly. The idea is to help them work together more effectively, potentially improve diagnostic accuracy, and ultimately, you hope, lead to better patient outcomes.
That's fantastic. AI actually empowering healthcare professionals. Even something like summarizing text, which seems basic, is getting more sophisticated.
It is. Adobe Research has this approach called Midas Pro.
Okay.
It breaks summarization down into stages. Planning what's important, reasoning about the content, and then writing the summary.
So a more structured, maybe more intelligent way to condense information.
That's the idea. It shows the depth of innovation happening even in tasks we might think are already solved.
And on the creative side, we hear buzz about tools like Runway ML Gen 4.
Yeah, the talk around using Runway ML Gen 4 reference suggests it offers a more natural or intuitive way to create images, videos, that kind of thing.
Making AI creativity tools more user-friendly, more expressive.
Seems like it. Lowering the barrier for artists and designers to really explore what's possible with AI.
It's just incredible how AI is weaving its way into so many different areas. Let's touch on the open source community now. It feels like they play a massive role in all this.
Oh, absolutely vital. The open source AI community is incredibly dynamic. You see things like Meta's Llama Impact Grants.
Right, what are they supporting?
One example is Solotech. They're working on offline, multilingual AI support for underserved communities.
Wow, using open source AI for social good like that?
It's a really powerful example of how these open initiatives can tackle real-world problems and have a positive impact.
And the platforms themselves, like Hugging Face, they're growing in influence.
Definitely. You see the Meta Llama org gaining tons of followers on Hugging Face. And interestingly, ChatGPT is now apparently one of the top 10 traffic sources for Hugging Face.
So these platforms are really becoming central hubs for sharing and collaboration in open source AI.
They really are. It's like this global collaborative R&D lab.
And people are actively trying to learn together too. Things like AI agents build sessions.
Exactly. Those kinds of sessions are great. They let people learn directly from experts, share knowledge, and really push the agent technology forward collectively.
Okay, so pulling this all together, if you had to summarize the big trends we've talked about today, what really stands out?
Well, I think there's that clear push for models that are not just powerful, but also efficient and accessible, smaller, faster, usable on less hardware.
Right.
Then there's the rise of AI agents. They're becoming more capable individually, but also more collaborative. That hints at a future where AI tackles much more complex multi-step tasks.
Okay, efficiency and agent capability. What else?
The sheer range of applications. AI is expanding into so many diverse fields, promising really significant changes in how we work, how we learn, how we create.
Education, finance, healthcare, creative work.
Exactly. And underpinning all of this is that vibrant open source community. It's a massive engine driving a lot of this innovation and accessibility.
So it's a picture of really rapid progress on many fronts, with this focus on making AI more practical, more usable, more widespread.
I think that sums it up well. Hopefully this deep dive has given you, our listener, a good handle on some of the most important recent shifts in the AI landscape.
Absolutely. And just to leave you with something to think about, considering how fast things are moving with both model efficiency and agent collaboration, what kind of unforeseen societal shifts might we actually anticipate in the next, say, few years? Try to think beyond the specific examples we discussed. What are the broader ripple effects of these trends combined? Something to mull over. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.